What if you could 2 to 3x your leads that are coming in? What if you could transform your online brand so that people could find you and want to buy from you? What if your website was an asset rather than something you're ashamed of? If you answered yes to any of these questions, I have a solution for you. Green Frog Web Design is your premier solution for web design in the lawn and landscape industry. Fellow landscapers have found great success with online marketing, and now with our help, they are growing their businesses. Interested in growing your business? Click on the link in the bio for more info.
Welcome to the Crooked Stripes Podcast, where your hosts discuss various aspects of lawn care, landscaping, and snow removal. Let these two friendly Canucks help you cultivate a different outlook on the green industry. And with that, here are your hosts, Brendan Brubaker and Martin Hodder.
All right, we're back again, guys. Episode 55. Oh my goodness, we're just flying along, Hodder. We have another very special guest. We met this guy down at the show, met him at the Ferris booth. He's even running the Ferris shirt. Welcome to the podcast, Nate Eaton of Eaton's Lawn Care.
How's it going, guys?
It's going good, man.
You got the name out there right. Even an easy one, you almost messed it up.
I know, I almost botched yours too.
That's all good. You got it.
Yep, we're all good.
We gotta represent.
Yep, got to represent. Yeah, I'm ripping the Ferris sweater too. Let's go.
Factory team all day.
Yeah, I know. Love it. Yeah. Well, how's the season going for you, Nate?
It's going.
Yeah.
That's for sure. The ins and outs. Overall, it's going good. You know, I can't complain. Every day I wake up's a good day.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
So you make the morning the best of it, and that's how you start your day. So if the morning's good, then you should have a good day, regardless of what happens, right?
Yep. I'm a big believer in that. And you're in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep, born and raised.
It's a nice spot. I was there this March at a Crest event. It's a pretty cool city. It's the first time I think I was there, so nice little. I was the one that brought the shitty weather back in March. It was super warm, I guess, before I got, well, not super warm, but like warm for that time of year. And then I show up and expecting nice weather, and next thing you know, it's frost that night, like the end of March. I was like, you've got to be kidding me! Fuck this.
Charlotte is full of colors.
Yeah.
It's very transparent.
Mm.
You know, it's like the people sometimes they don't know whether they're coming or going.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because you don't get snow for the most part, right? Like it's mostly kind of year round.
Typically, we usually don't get any snow until January or February.
Okay.
It was pretty rare that we actually got snow a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it didn't last. You know, it was there for a couple hours.
Okay.
So not really much to talk about, unlike what y'all get. You know, it's just what feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
We get a fair bit up. We've been pretty lucky so far. We've had nothing yet. We've had one 2-inch storm. Besides that, that's all we got. But maybe we'll dive into your business a little bit here. So do you want to give kind of a rundown on kind of your company, I guess, like your services, that sort of stuff?
So I'll just go back to how I started.
Perfect.
My father, he grew up doing landscaping. I think he started around 18. I think he was 18 when he started. So his father worked for National Gypsum. So he didn't know anybody that had ran a business before. So it was like he was just winging it. So he stuck with it, you know. And then, I came around, and at 5 years old, I was riding tractors, and every Sunday I go to my grandparents' house and just look forward to getting on the tractor, just to ride it around the yard. It's just, I love being around machines and whatnot. It's my passion.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I kind of took that. I like being around the engines and whatnot. I would go with my mom to stores and stuff, and I would want things. And she would tell me, no, you can't have that. It costs money. And I was like, well, it's just money. Why can't you just buy it? Right. She's like, no, it doesn't work like that. So over the years, that drove me to want to, she said, you can go work and you'll be able to buy those things that you want. I didn't like listen to my parents when I grew up.
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, so I kind of despised what she told me and listened to what my father said and start a business. Be your own boss, and you can make your own money and do what you want to do. You don't have to be guided by somebody else. So that's what I did. So I think it was my uncle's mower. He had a push mower, and I had like a little handheld blower. That was all I had to start. So I went around the neighborhood, pushing it around and knocking on doors and asking everyone, if I could, cut their grass for like $5 or $10, and a lot of people said, yeah, sure. Why not? So that was, I want to say I was 7 years old when I started that.
Okay.
Okay. So
Grinding.
every year, obviously you progress. So I think I was maybe 10 when I first got my first ride-on mower. It was like a scratch and dent from Lowe's,
Nice.
like maybe $500 or $600. But I had saved up enough money to be able to buy that because I went in Lowe's every week and I was looking at the mowers. I'd sit on them, kind of get my mind in the right spot of what I wanted before I bought it. So I bought it, and it exploded. So I had at one point in my neighborhood, I had almost 20 yards that I was cutting. Not every
At the
week,
age of
but
10?
every other week or every week, but it was a lot of yards. And I had this little trailer that I would pull behind the mower with my weed eater, my blower, my string, and my gas and whatnot. I was probably the laughing stock of the neighborhood, but I was at least making money.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not a lot of kids that would do that now.
No.
Very, very few. Kids now are a little lazy.
Yeah.
It was mainly the motivation of not being able to buy what I wanted.
Nice.
That's what drove me to work, not be lazy, have the dedication, the motivation, all that good stuff. So I think obviously I did that for a couple years until I got another mower, which was a little more expensive. It was another ride-on mower, but it was like a Troy built, a little bit bigger deck. I think it was like a 42, a bullshit mower, but it got the job done.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I had that for a while, and I sold it to my neighbor, and I got a zero turn. Right, so I got a John Deere zero turn, whatever. I think it was a Z-Track 717A, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
That was a 48. That was my first commercial mower. So everything before that was like, residential status, right?
Yeah.
So I ran that until I blew the motor up. So that was a long time, 5-6 years, maybe. So at this point, I'm 17, 18 years old, and, I'm at this customer's yard. The valves drop out of the engine. It blows a whole bunch of smoke. That was my first major event that happened, like on the client's property, right? And I'm only, 18 years old, so I don't, I called my pops. I was like, well, what do I do? And I can't even move it out of their yard, right? So he comes, helps me push it on the truck. We get it out of there. He calls another landscaper that had I think it was a Snapper Pro.
Nice.
So Snapper Pro walked behind. It was a 48, and he was looking to get another mower, so he wanted to get rid of it. And so I got it. I gave him $1,500 for it, and that was my first walk behind. So that's when I got the John Deere. I had already knew what I had wanted to do with my career, but I didn't know I wanted to take it to that level, the level that I've taken it to now. So there was a big point in my life where I didn't progress as much as I wanted to. So from 17, 18 years old to when I had my first daughter, so COVID, 2021 maybe, somewhere around there. So between that gap, I wasn't really driven to do anything or progress my business. So when COVID had happened, I had, before that, I wasn't an LLC or anything like that. I went ahead and got that done. And the only reason I got that done is because my cousin, Brandon, had told me, you have a business. You want to make it legal, do the right thing, get an LLC. Well, my father, he never got an LLC for his business. So that was a risk that I had to take because I didn't know anything about it. The corporate side of things, the paperwork and all that stuff.
Totally.
I just knew how to cut grass. Right. So as I had, my kids and whatnot, the bills started getting more expensive. Things cost more. Got more expenses. Things happen. Life happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did everything: applications, mulch, landscape, everything that you can do inside of lawn care, maintenance, landscape, and all that good stuff. I just talked to the clients. I was like, here. I would send them a text. I wouldn't necessarily go to their house face to face because I already had contact with them. They knew who I was, what I did. So I just send texts out and give them discounts to sell, just to sell work, just to stay busy, because I had other mouths to feed. So prioritizing and dedicating and making sure that your life's in order so you can take care of other people is what's made me progress my business today.
Mm-hmm. It kind of forced your hand to kind of
It did
grow.
It did. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, which looking back, it's like, sure, in the moment it's a little difficult, but now looking back, it's like, oh, like that's, I don't know, that was good for me, right?
It built me up.
Yeah, some character
we all have
building.
to start somewhere. So when
Totally.
It's somebody that doesn't know me. They're like, how did he get to where he's at? Who gave it to him? What did he do to get to where he's at? Did he cheat? Did he scam?
Yeah.
No, it's hard work over here.
A lot of cut lawns since the age of 7.
A lot of calloused hands too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. That's a pretty good intro to it.
Yeah.
You must be what, 25, 26 now?
I'll be 26 next Monday.
Okay.
So
well, happy early birthday.
Yeah.
So that's
appreciate
you're
it.
Almost 20 years in the lawn care industry.
17, 18 years, yeah. Just about.
That's awesome.
I would say the past 5 years I've really pushed it.
Okay.
I've always cut grass, but really, progressing the outcome I want in life.
Mm-hmm.
Having kids that obviously I don't know if y'all have kids or not, but it kind of puts a weight on you. It's another burden. So at the end of the day, you can't really think about yourself.
Yeah.
You got other people that are dependent on you, and you have to, do what you're supposed to do as a man. Right?
Yeah. Nice. Good way of putting it. Yeah.
That's what I believe in. That's the doctrine I was raised from.
Yep.
So your company now, so obviously I think you had a couple of guys with you at the show as well, right?
Yeah.
So you must have a few employees and stuff now, right?
You might laugh at this. I run my business solo, and the reason I'm able to do that and I netted just under 200K this year solo.
Nice.
Okay, and being able to do that, obviously worked up to this point. I've just told you I had problems with equipment. I was out for weeks when that stuff happened. So I've lived and learned. So when COVID happened, I went and got new equipment, brand new equipment. My Ferris mowers, Z3X 72, 36. So I've had those for a couple years. And the reasons, I've never bought new equipment. My father's never bought new equipment. It's all been used mowers, right? So I didn't know anybody that bought new equipment. So that was a risk I was willing to take because I knew the outcomes and the productivity that I would be able to get done having new stuff that wouldn't break down rather than having stuff that broke down and then I'd be out of business. So I said, whatever, I'll pay the monthly payments for it. I'll finance new equipment and I'll take on, if you want to call it stress, more monthly bills, I would say, just so I'll constantly be in business. So I'll never be out of business. Right. So if you constantly having stuff break down, you can't get anything done. You may have to sub it out. That's going to cost you more money. Right. So
and that would almost be more stressful than the monthly payments, right? Like
it wouldn't be worth it. Right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be worth it.
Right.
Yeah. The peace of mind is well worth the monthly payment on gear for sure.
So I got the mowers. Last year I got, a new truck. Went and got a 2023 2500 Chevy, brand new. The beginning of last year, I want to say I had my truck a year and a half now. My trailer I got back in January. Short, quick story about my old trailer, the single axle. I would put both Ferris mowers on there, and it'd obviously be overweight. So because they're so big, fill up a 6x10 trailer with no problem. So I would, go about my day, and every week, I grease my stuff. Wheel bearings on the trailer, pulleys on the mower, everything. And, I don't drive crazy and whatnot. But one day, my wheel bearing, or my wheel, I was looking in my mirror, it started to wobble with all the equipment on there going down the highway. Well, the cap shot off and almost hit a car while I was going down the highway. And the wheel started acting like it was going to jump off. I already knew what happened. The bearings had seized up and whatnot. So I pulled over, I had to fix it. Went and got some parts, fixed it. But anyway, long story short, I had to keep replacing the wheel hubs on that trailer. Literally every month. No matter how much I greased it, it just wouldn't hold up because it's too much weight. So I went and bought a new trailer. It was a perfect example. Just so I wouldn't have to deal with the wheel or the chance of the wheel falling off every month.
Yeah.
Because I was overloading the trailer. I was overworking the trailer. Right? So I went and got a 14-foot trailer, double axle. Now I can put as much as I want on it and not have to worry about it being overloaded.
Yeah. But like in the beginning, though, you kind of need to buy what you can and use what you got. It is what it is, right? Until you're able to kind of grow to be able to afford that extra stuff.
What I'm saying is, if you have new stuff, the chances of it being broke or falling apart are pretty slim.
Yeah.
Compared to something that that trailer had to have had 200,000 miles on it. So the actual frame itself, would be falling apart. Because I went through 3 trucks with that same trailer.
I think you got your use out of the trailer.
It was due, I'd say. It was due.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. So where you're at now with your business, are you doing like mostly residential mowing or commercial or kind of a mix of the two? And what's kind of like your preference?
I'll give you a short story. I used to do a lot of commercial properties. One of them was Cedar Management that I did it for. I worked for. They were the people that I invoiced every month. I had the property for a couple years, and they had maybe 10 different property managers that I dealt with within that time frame. So I was never paid on time. So I strictly stick to residentials just because of that bad experience.
Yeah.
So I haven't really advertised for commercial per se. Let me back up. I never advertised. I had a little tiny 12 by 12 little logo magnet on the side of my truck a couple years ago when COVID started. But I only ran that for maybe a season. I didn't really get any calls from it per se. Everything's been word of the mouth. It's been recommendations from other clients. Before that, it was a couple clients that my pops did not want that I took over. And that was just, a couple handfuls. So I do a lot of work now. And I take pride in my work. So everything that I do, it's been looked over. The customer knows that we do good work. If they have a problem with any of the work that we do, we fix it without the cost to the customer. Yeah. So we're real eager to get back and fix the problem if there is a problem. Usually there's not, but when there is, we're quick to fix it.
Well, I think that's what helped with customers referring you to somebody else, right? Because no one ever goes around blabbing about all the good stuff you do. It's when they go on and start blasting you over the one small little bad thing. So if you're able to fix that before they have a chance, then it goes a long, long way.
Most definitely.
And I know you mentioned you do a little bit of maintenance and stuff as well. So are you doing like flower beds and mulching and that sort of stuff too? Is that what you're including in your maintenance side?
So down to like maybe flowers and whatnot, we don't do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You really can't charge much for it unless it's a commercial property.
Gotcha.
People that live at houses, they'd rather do it themselves.
Okay.
So the residential side of things, no, we don't. We don't even offer that.
Yeah. Okay.
we only offer, lawn maintenance, so mow, edge, trim, blow. We do full application, so broadleaf spraying, your pre-emergence, your summer ferts, your aeration and seeding in the fall, your winter fertilizer. Of course,
Nice.
you got your fungicides and herbicides throughout the hot season, right? So we do all that good stuff. Not everybody wants apps. Some people just want to mow, but they don't mind paying monthly. That's another thing. All of my clients, I'd say about 95% of them, I make them sign for a year.
Nice. Yeah.
And that right there will filter out 25% of the clients that you don't want just because they don't want to sign.
Good point. Yep.
So Jobber's great. And y'all know Jobber's great with that. But before we had Jobber, we had to actually do more legwork. Go back and forth on emails discussing stuff because they wouldn't understand it, right? So Jobber just, nips it in the butt. You don't even have to do that.
Yeah, you set it up once,
so easy.
And it's just smooth sailing on it.
Right. It makes life simpler. You have more time to focus on, getting more work, or if you need to nip something like, an employee doing something not supposed to or something like that, you have time to address it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how does that work with, because we do all our stuff monthly as well, but our mowing season is only 6 months. We might get May till October. And then we do our leaf cleanup and all that stuff afterwards. So what kind of services are you doing? I know you said you get a chance of snow in January, February. So obviously you're not mowing that time of year. So what kind of services are you doing? Or are you doing anything for those customers during those other kind of off-season months?
Sure. So typically, like I said, we put them on a monthly care plan. Each month, I try to put down one application, regardless of what it is. So it could be an extra round of fertilizer, So January, I put out fertilizer and pre-emergent early, probably a month before anybody else does. So I put it the first week of January. I'm going to be putting it out in a couple weeks. So I'll put that first round down, and that's 6 to 8 week barrier for weeds, and it has a fertilizer in it at the same time. So it builds up the roots, gets it green, prepped for the warm weather. And so when you put your second round down in February, 6 to 8 weeks, I do it early, but you do it February, and then it's really prepped for the warm weather in March. So every month, you have an app. So 3 rounds of pre-emergent, January, February, March. Then you have an April broadleaf spraying that kills all the weeds, your clover, chickweed, any type of weed, but not a grass, right? So we just spray for weeds. We don't kill grass. And typically all our yards are fescue.
Okay.
We have a couple clients that are Bermuda, and those people just want it mowed. We can put the same stuff down on fescue as you can Bermuda. They just rather not. It would look like a golf course.
Yeah.
They would. They just don't care.
They don't.
Yeah. Because you guys are kind of right on the cusp for that kind of zone for your Bermuda and your warm season, right?
Yeah. So we have yards that are Bermuda and Zoysia, but it's hard to keep them on a monthly because the majority of the time that it's cold, it's not even growing and it looks like it's dead.
Yeah.
Right. So from maybe April to the end of September is when you're mowing them.
Okay.
Any other time, that's almost half a year.
Yeah.
They're like, why am I paying you monthly? You're not even here.
That's why I was kind of asking that, because that's kind of our mowing season's May till October, and then if we try to put monthly on or 12 months on our snow, or on our lawns, people were like, "You guys are nuts! We have 3 feet of snow on the lawn. I'm not paying you for the."
Right.
So we'll combine the two. We'll combine our snow and lawn into one if they want to go the 12 months. Just kind of balance it out that way.
Kind of make them happy at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, when we don't do any work, we're not mowing in those off months, we'll still make our weekly rounds.
Okay.
Nice.
Maybe if it's just simply as stopping there, waiting a few minutes, or blowing the driveway off if it's dirty.
Gotcha.
As long as you show up, you're there every week. We usually don't have a problem. I have 2 clients that are Bermuda. They're monthlies. And I do exactly what I just told y'all. And, they're fine with it because they're molded. Once you're able to mold a client and get them grooved, you usually don't have any problems with them. I hit her card every month. I don't even talk to her.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Some of those are the
simple.
best
It's
ones.
simple. I love those.
Those are
clients.
the
I wish
Yeah.
every client was like that.
Yeah.
We have one customer now. I've had them for 4 years, and I could be standing next to them in the grocery store, and I'd have no idea who they were. I've never met to them. I've never talked to them on the phone. They just, I send the bill. They prepay for the whole year for mowing. Then they prepay for the whole year for winter. I never see them. I don't know. Like I said, they could be standing next to me, and I wouldn't have a clue who they are, but they leave us a review every 6 months. They're happy as a pig and shit. So
Exactly.
best kind of customers.
Yes.
It doesn't get better than that, Martin.
No,
It doesn't get better than that.
no, not too
Nope.
bad at all.
But that's great. Hey, Nate, what are you running? I know you mentioned Ferris, but what are you running for all your equipment?
All right. So
Let's
start
get
with
into it.
Start with the weed eaters, I guess.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So I'll back up even further than that.
Love it.
Let's go back to when I was about 7. All right. My pops has done a lot of things, but he hasn't really stuck with them. So he used to own a shop in the midst of mowing grass, being a landscaper. And he would sell chemicals. He would sell fertilizers like any Site 1 would. So anything that Site 1 would sell, he had. But he also he was a mechanic for lawn equipment. You had any kind of equipment he worked on. He had guys for that. And in the midst of that, he was also selling all Echo products. So all the Echo blowers, chainsaws, trimmers, stick edgers, bush trimmers, all that stuff he sold. It was all in one. So it was like a 3-in-1. He had that for a couple years and it didn't work out. So back to what you were saying. So Echo, I've always been a fan of Echo. You know, I've ran steel. I have steel equipment. The majority's Echo though, for a couple reasons. Steels are hard to start when they're cold. Echoes, they fire 2-3, pulls every single time. That's with all of their equipment. Now steel does make a good chainsaw. Their chainsaws are great. You know, they're powerful. They start up, unlike their blowers and their trimmers. I used to run all steel, even though my pop sold Echo. But I had, of course, my own opinion on it. I was hard-headed. And now, the proof outweighs the hard-headedness. You want a blower that's easy to start? Echo. You want a blower that'll start every time? Echo. The power? Echo. Steels always sound like they're bogging down. I know you know it. The blowers always sound like they're bogging down. Maybe like the BR 450s.
BR 450. Yeah, don't even get me started on the BR side pull.
It's crazy. Echoes are more simple.
Yeah, all right.
Steels have more
I'll
power.
give you that. Yep, true.
Yeah, because there's more moving parts in them.
Yeah,
right?
Good point. Okay.
So we mainly stuck to Echo. I just got a couple new blowers this year. So back to the employees, Brandon. So I'm owner operator. Last year, my brothers would help me when they're not working, but one of them went and started welding for Steel Fab. It's a corporation for the government. They make stuff for the buildings and whatnot. So I had to find something. So I talked to my brother's friend, Kevin. That's the one that you met at the expo. And I didn't know it, but he was already doing his own landscaping. So he had his car, his trailer and whatnot, going around his neighborhood cutting grass. So I was like, well, I need some help. And he's already trying to do what we do, right? All right, well, I'll show him the ropes a little bit. So that's how it started. He'd help me a couple days a week. I'd show him how to run a business, what to do and what not to do. And at the same time, he would help me take care of my yards and whatnot. So he had his own yards that we had to take care of also along with mine. So it's like more of a barter system.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's all my stuff. I pay for all the expenses. But the work that we were able to get done aside from being solo, I was able to get more work done with him helping me, even though we were doing more work. So we're doing his yards, my yards, and all the extra stuff, bushes, leaves, all that other stuff, spraying Roundup, stuff that takes time. We were able to get all this done and still have time in the day to go home early. So that's what I did. That's what we did all year. Charlotte's pretty bad with traffic. So if
Right.
you don't have your route planned out, you kind of just, it really doesn't matter
It
the
can-
time of day. There's traffic everywhere.
Yeah,
So
I almost
But
missed
you
my flight.
experience that.
Yeah, trying to get back from wherever, I forget where
Right.
we were, to try to
So-
get back to the airport. And I was like,
Right.
oh boy.
crazy.
Yeah.
So what we would do is, well, what I would do, because I would route what we had on the schedule, I would always work myself out to the furthest point, and then work my way in.
Nice.
So first thing in the morning, the city's all jacked up. You hit the highway, go to your furthest point out, and work your way in. That way, when you get done, you're not an hour away. You don't have to sit through 2 hours of traffic just to get home.
Mm-hmm.
Jobber wouldn't route it to and take out the traffic how I wanted it to. So I had to route it in my own head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I do is, all by memory. I usually don't write anything down. I don't take notes. I just, wing it.
Winging it. Love it.
Winging it.
That's the only thing you can do. Because when you prep for stuff, things don't go as planned. And it seems more fiction, right? It's more scripted, I should say. So you be natural at what you do, be yourself, and you can put your mind to anything you want to do. I mean, that's what
And
I do.
shit just always works out.
Anytime I
times.
need something for the
Most
business,
times.
I go get it.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't do this because I got to do this. Just go get it. It's
Go get it.
just go
I
get
agree.
it.
Yeah.
You already know it's a good decision. If it's for the
Exactly.
business, it should be a good decision. It's not
Yeah.
a personal decision.
No, yeah.
So just go do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No emotion.
You're your
Try not
biggest
to get-
enemy.
Yeah. Don't let your personal emotions get in the way of that decision.
You talk yourself out of it. That's all. When you start
Exactly.
thinking on it and all that
Yeah.
stuff, you just start talking yourself out of it, and then
Just do it.
the opportunity's gone.
Yep. So, with the clients and whatnot, I strictly tell them before they sign that their bill's due by or on the 1st of every month, right? So when that time comes, either, they're allowing me to charge their card on file, or I send them an invoice that they pay manually. The ones that are, want to pay manually. They don't want you to charge the card for whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. So when the first comes, the second comes, the third comes, the fourth comes, and when the fifth comes, we really got a problem. So, I'll text them. I'll be nice about it, but, this is business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll text them, like, we're here every week, when should we expect payment? Oh, I had a graduation this weekend. It's just the holidays, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, that's fine and dandy. It doesn't change the fact that you still owe your balance to the loan guy. When should I expect it? And they'll be like, oh, I was on vacation. Okay, well, when you're on vacation, you're not doing shit. You're sitting on your ass, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And you're on your phone. So you don't tell me you can't send me my money. You're not doing anything.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty fair.
People always seem to have a reason why they
Well,
can't
there's an
pay
excuse
on
for
time.
everything.
Yeah, people are something else.
Yeah.
I find it, funny.
Mm.
It's funny. At this point in life, it's just funny. It doesn't annoy me anymore. It's humorous,
Yeah.
It's like, really? Okay.
I think you always have to look at it like that sometimes because some crazy
gotta-
Because they're gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, so may as well laugh about it.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good attitude about it,
Exactly.
right? And if you show emotion, business wise, that's never good.
No.
It shows you're weak, right? Business is never supposed to be weak. It's supposed to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you got your ups and downs. That's with any business. You don't ever want it like this, So the ups and downs is what makes you.
Well, yeah.
The trials and tribulations is what builds you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The
A
trauma.
lot of learning along the way.
Yeah, I learn from all my mistakes, so I don't make the same mistakes twice,
Mm-hmm.
and I can say that proudly.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I made a mistake, I punished myself for it, just so I
Yep.
wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can really perfect what you do, lifestyle, business lifestyle, everything you can do if you put your mind to it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I like that.
Love it, Nate.
Yeah, I think, long and hard about what I do every day to get in the position that I'm at. This year, I'll talk about the social media for a little bit.
Yeah, let's get into that.
So I created my business Instagram account back in 2021 when I first got, the new equipment and whatnot. And I was just doing it to, create one, right? Just to fit in, I guess. Well, I never really posted anything on it. And I didn't for a couple years until this year. And the reason being is, so Kevin, the guy you met, he's like my intern /
Right.
employee. He, was like, all these guys, he introduced me to you. He's like, Stripe Life in Canada. He's the one that showed me, who you were. So that was like back in June, July.
Okay.
Like, all right, so I'll follow Brandon because I saw your, cutting edge videos. He's like, I've been following him for years.
Yeah,
like,
he
really?
said that. It's so funny.
Yeah, because I'll back up a little bit. The first person I saw in the landscaping business was Brian.
Right.
Well, I don't condone some of the stuff that Brian does.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say about that. So I didn't really keep.
Hey, we agree there,
follow
brother.
up on
So
him.
don't worry. Yep.
So I just stayed out of it, right? I didn't really know what was going on in the landscaping world with networking and whatnot. I didn't know who was who. So all I did was network. I interacted with everybody. And once I started to do that, a couple people, DM me. One of my promoters DM me that I'm using now. Almost like, love your stuff. Let me promote your account. It's like, okay. So what he does is anything I post, it's on his account. His stories, it's in his bio. So anytime I'll post, post a reel, whatever, on Instagram, I send it to him and I get all these likes because, his counts, he's got like 1.5 million followers. So he's able to organically boost my account with likes and all this stuff. Of course, I'll pay him, a sweetener every now and again, but it comes with making money. You got to spend money, right?
Yep.
So, I do nice work. I'm not trying to hide that I don't do nice work. I mean, you can clearly see it in the pictures. So I'm not faking, what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm boosting what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, people can look at it however they want. But I know what I'm doing, right? So anything I post, I send to him. He boosts it. I get all these likes, So by doing that, I was able to get verified on my personal account through Instagram without paying for the Meta subscription, right? So the business, I pay the subscription or whatever. It's like 50. It was 150 a month, but I changed that. So now I lost it because I changed it down because I want to spend maybe 50.
Yeah.
It's like 20 different packages.
I know.
That range up to $7,000 a year for a blue check.
Which is
it's crazy. But anyway,
it's
so
crazy.
I downgraded to the $50 a month. And I lost my blue check. They said I had to get a refund through Apple and all this bullshit. So I got to wait until it actually ends. So that'd be
ridiculous. It's all determined on how many followers you have, and I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous, is right.
It's
like we are promoting your app essentially by putting our content on it, and you want us to pay to have this blue check mark? Are you crazy? That's how I feel about it.
I'm with you, Brandon.
So,
but that's what the world's come to.
I get it, but it's just frustrating.
You got to do what you got to do. If you want, you want to look good on Instagram, you got to pay for it.
I guess so.
I only do it.
It's as simple as that. You can talk to as much people as you want, but you can't change their view on what you post, right? You can be an influence.
Yep.
But you can't change their view.
Yep.
Yeah. The reason I pay for that, I think mine's only like $20 a month or whatever.
Yeah, it's like $20.
Yeah, but I did it because I had a bunch of my social media stuff hacked. And this gives like that extra layer of protection and someone to talk to if it does. So that's the only reason I do it, just because if I had to start over, I probably wouldn't do it.
You had your account hacked like 3 times.
Yeah.
Really? What were you doing?
Every time I did it, I'd do a giveaway. And then after that, my account would get hacked. So I just stopped doing them.
Were you giving your username and password to someone?
No, just like if I was doing like a giveaway, like usually I'll do like, I used to do like a like free lawn care for a year or whatever, like a kind of like a like and share contest.
Mhm.
And then every time after I did it for 3 years in a row, it got hacked. And I was like, this is
That's
fucking
just dumb
nuts.
luck.
Yeah. And then I made a new one, and then
Right.
then Facebook or whatever it was shut it down because they said I was impersonating somebody else.
Really? You
Yourself.
impersonating yourself?
Yeah, so I was impersonating myself and my company, so they closed that account.
How original.
So currently I have 4 Hotter Landscaping Facebook accounts, and I have access to none of them.
That's
It's pretty
crazy.
good. It's pretty good.
So back when I had got the subscription for the Eaton Lawn Care Blue Check, the reason being it was so expensive, it had 10 different things that were included in it. One of them being that I was able to monetize an actual Eaton Lawn Care employee with a Blue Check.
Okay.
So I was able to go under the browser, the web, and manually tell Instagram, like, yeah, this is my employee, give them a blue check. So I had 2 spots for that.
Really?
With the $150 a month.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
I didn't use it,
Hmm.
so I downgraded, and they took it away.
Right.
They must have really enjoyed the $150 a month.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It is what it is.
Yeah. I know.
But you know,
The way I
all
look at
that
it
is
is like-
just a check. It doesn't
Yeah, I
change
know.
it doesn't change what I do. Right?
No.
No. Especially now that anyone could buy it, right?
Yeah.
Well, any business can buy it.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
if you have a LLC and it's registered with the state, then you can easily get that subscription with Meta.
Yeah.
Right. Then you can buy it.
Yeah. So like before, it was obviously like if you had it, like
A little more meaningful.
you were putting in some grind and work on that.
Well, yeah.
But it is what it is. Like I said, it's just for me, it's more the
Yeah.
protection side of it. So
Well, they
I really
give you
don't want a 5th hacked account.
Right. They give you the live agent on standby.
Mhm.
They put you at the top of the search list when someone searches businesses. They put you at the top.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a couple other things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
You know, like the blue check. You know, so you know it's how you want to spend your money. Is it worth it?
Yeah. There you go. And to some people, it's definitely worth it. So,
Mhm.
I don't know.
And even if you were into something expensive for it, like if you have one brand deal
Yeah. Well,
versus
There you
losing
go.
your account,
Right.
I think
know,
it was.
pretty cheap, right? So
Yeah. Totally.
that's kind of the way I looked at it because I really wouldn't want to lose
No.
a deal or
Everything.
2 I have over that and have to start
Right.
a fresh account, right? So
But if you're
Yeah.
not looking for, you know, the input of others, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the feel good about it, the boost, the morale,
Yeah.
I don't need a blue check to feel better about what I do. You know, it
Totally.
doesn't make me a better person, right? It's
no,
just a,
No.
it's just a check.
if only simple.
Yeah. If only it worked.
I'm the
like
same.
that.
I'm the same. You're the same as me. You know, we're all the same. We're all human.
Yeah.
You know, we each got, you know, 2 hands, 2 eyes, you know, 2 ears. You know, we do different things.
Mm.
You know, so you know, you got to draw the line somewhere,
Mm.
and that just you know always goes back to how you were raised.
Yeah.
You know,
Nice.
your doctrine, your origin, where you're from, all
Mhm.
that good stuff.
Nate, did you want to touch on your mowers you're running? I think we got sidetracked a few times.
Did it cancel out?
That's a true Crooked Stripes episode going off the deep end.
So
Yeah, love
so
it.
yeah. I used to have a Wright ZK 72.
Okay.
That I had that before I had gotten the Ferris mowers. That wasn't a brand new mower. It was like a year old.
How did you like that versus your Ferris?
A couple things. You know, they both cut well. The Wright, it can handle hills better.
Right.
The diagonal part, because you know it's got the fuel tanks over the tires, distributes the weight. Low center of gravity is what you want to call it.
Yeah.
So when you know those are full or half full, you can go at any speed on the hill and not have to worry about sliding down it. Unlike the Ferris, you know, if it's full, because it's in the middle,
Yeah.
right? If it's full, it tends to slide down. Like the tire it'll slide. It won't dig,
Okay.
but it'll slide.
Mhm.
So I've noticed that when it's like a quarter to half it handles better for some reason, because the fuels level with the tires, it's not over the tires.
Okay.
For some
Good
reason,
way.
it handles better. However that works out. Between those two things, and then the cut style, the Ferris beats the right. It's just a darker stripe, right?
Mm.
The right can cut thicker grass because it has that arrow core. It just pushes it out
Okay.
super fast. It doesn't clump like you would think it would. But the Ferris doesn't bog either at the same time. So
Yeah.
it does a great cut job. It's a deep stripe. It cuts the same amount of grass effortlessly, and it doesn't bog. And it's a little bit cheaper than right by like $5,000.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Quite
quite
a big difference.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
when you're buying a couple mowers.
Right.
In my opinion, the rights are great for commercial use. The wear and tear, you can beat them up. You don't have to grease them like the Ferris. You can just drive them into the ground and they'll still be there. The Ferris, you got to be a little more careful with them.
Mm.
I take care of my equipment, so that's not really a problem. But when you're cutting thick grass, of course, it's going to be harder on the belts, stresses all the parts. So we strictly just mow every week. We don't cut, we don't try to bush hog grass with the finished cut mowers.
Yeah.
Those are finished mowers. They're not bush hoggers. So
No.
yeah, you can change the blades out, but you can only do so much, right?
Mm.
So we run high lift striping blades all year. We don't switch out the gators to mulch leaves. We blow them. So if we're not mowing one week, if it's a monthly, we'll blow the leaves. If they want to complain about, why you didn't mow? Well, we blew instead. It's not technically included. Bushes, leaves, and Roundup is occasionally included, but bushes and leaves we never include for everyone. Now, once you get the feel of a customer, you have them a couple seasons, you can, every year I like to add stuff in. So
Yeah.
every year I revise it.
Yep.
Add stuff in. You can't add everything in at one time. It's like smacking them in the face. They don't know what to do. So it's too much for them to digest.
Yeah.
When you have it doesn't matter if it's on Java or not. I've had people that read just the top, the instruction or description of what the plan is. They don't even read the detailed line items. They read the first part, but they won't read the detailed service of what we're doing.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. So when, there's a problem, I asked him, I was like, did you even read the monthly care plan? No, I just signed it.
Oh, all right.
So you're saying that when you go buy your house or your car, you just sign it,
Yeah.
because it's a contract.
Yeah.
Just sign it.
People are brutal
It's
for
just
that.
what
They
people will do.
they don't read.
Right.
Like so many questions we get calls in for the office for could be eliminated if they literally just looked at their quote or estimate or job and just read like the 3 little lines that says, this is what we're doing. This is what we're not doing. Hire us or don't.
They have to be directed, but they have to be directed after they've been directed. So you send them the care plan, but they still don't know what to do.
Yeah.
There's buttons that light up saying approve, sign, do this, click this. They still can't do that, right? It's too complex, So that's what makes me think they got a TikTok brand. Scrolling.
Yeah.
Every 2 seconds.
Right to the bottom, click the button.
That video's not good enough. All right, just keep scrolling.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, it's
I've
about
watched-
molding your customers.
Yeah.
That's molding and training your customers is
Yep.
Yeah, I
Bingo.
half the battle.
I watch people when I go into Starbucks. I go to Starbucks every morning. I walk in there, everyone's on their phone. It's just standing at the counter waiting for their mobile orders. I'm not being nosy. I take a glance and I'm just like,
They can just look. Yeah.
they're not even looking at anything. They're just scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
You're just scrolling.
Brain rot.
Jeez.
You can't tell them anything.
Yeah.
But that's another story for a different day.
That's a whole
another
other,
episode.
whole other thing. So kind of going forward, like what's your plan with Eaton Lawn Care? Are you looking to kind of grow into some crews or stay kind of solo with the guy helping you? Like, what's kind of your short and long term plan for the company?
I have a lot of stuff going on, but I'll give you the gist of it. So I own a couple companies.
Okay.
Eaton Lawn Care is the main company. It's the one that's been around for a while. I got a transport company, and I do business consulting on the side.
Okay.
Those three right there. And of course, I do Bitcoin trading.
Gotcha.
Nice. Okay.
So there's a lot to talk about. I can talk about the trading a little bit if you like.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, whatever you kind of.
So the reason I started trading was because we needed more cash flow. Okay. So, you have, your certain streams of income that you get it monthly, yearly, whatever, prepays, whatever. But, every now and again, you always run out of money. That's just life. So having money working for you while you're sleeping, making money while you're sleeping, it's a great thing. So if you can that's what I've been doing, using your extra money from landscaping or whatever, instead of letting it sit in your banking account, move it over and let it sit in Bitcoin, right? So you're like, oh, it's too much of a risk. I'm going to lose it. Not necessarily. If you study what Bitcoin has done every week, the past couple of years, you'll see it never drops below a certain point. Like it's constantly going up. It's went up 108%
right now
since it started. Right. So if you do your research on stuff and you figure out the origins of why it does this and why it does that, then you can kind of find loopholes of when you should buy and when you should sell.
Okay.
So that's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
This week was Thursday. So let me back up. I put $1,000 in there, or it's like $1,200 a week ago. Okay. Before that, it was small increments. I wasn't really making nothing. I wanted to make some more. So I put $1,000, $1,200 in there. Well, this past Thursday, it just jumped and I made $110. What I did with that is I cashed out. I cashed out what I made, but I left what I originally put in there. So every weekend it goes down. That's just what it does. Well,
I've noticed
weekend
that
was different. This weekend, all it did was go up, and that was weird. I was like, it's not supposed to do that. Well, I let it do its thing. I made another $100 over the weekend just by letting my money sit in there. So, if people want to argue about it, it's too much of a risk. Well, it's really not. If you monitor it, you don't have to stay up all night. You monitor it and you know what you're doing. Yeah. I first invested in Bitcoin back in 2016 when it started. I lost money. I haven't done it since then because I was scared. I was scared to lose money. I lost my $100 that I put in there because I didn't know what it was doing. I just put it in there, expecting it to gain money, and it didn't. But I didn't understand the market. So right now, that extra income is helping me do what I need to do for my business, like branding. This month, believe it or not, I bought a bunch of flyers that I passed out. The first time I've ever done that, I passed them out. So now I'm waiting on the phone calls. And it was a 10% discount on all my services. So I passed them out in the neighborhoods that, I wanted to work in. People that have nicer yards and live in different areas have more money. They care about their property more. So, you target those neighborhoods and hope for the best.
So were you walking and passing them out?
So I had Kevin, he was hanging out the window and I would just drive by and he would either tape it to the mailbox or stick it in the bottom because we don't open mailboxes. That's not what you do. So you put it in the newspaper part.
Not what you do.
The open part. Yeah. Well, it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
People definitely do.
And I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you do put it in the mailbox, which is illegal, that person does call you. What if they ask you, why'd you put it in my mailbox? Then what are you going to say? Right?
Spew some bullshit.
Well,
right.
Yeah. Hard to get out of that one.
We just put it in the bottom part, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't, it's not harming. It's not, invading their privacy. Right.
Nice.
So that's a step that we took this year that we haven't took before.
Nice. Well, like I said, hopefully it'll work. I've never done it. I've always bought a bunch and I just never get around to I have so many downstairs. Like all the different season ones, and then we just never get around to doing it. But what would you kind of hope for, like call wise and that sort of stuff from it?
I'm crossing my fingers, I'm hoping for a couple things. So I gave a 10% discount on services now before the holidays. So maybe people would think, well, let me get my yard looking right before all the family comes in from out of town. So like mulch, pine needles,
Gotcha.
maybe some bush trimming. Not necessarily maintenance because nothing's happening right now.
Yeah.
So we targeted the things that they would want to do right now. We know they would want to do right now.
Okay.
So we'll see how that works.
Awesome.
Okay.
You'll have to let us know.
Yeah.
I'm always super intrigued by the whole like direct marketing, like flyers, that sort of stuff.
I know.
To see if people get, because there was one guy I've talked to him on Instagram before, and I think he said he passed out or sent out like 20,000 of those like direct mailer things.
Wow.
Yep.
And had like 3 calls. And then I had to talk to another guy who passed out like 1,000 and had like 25 calls. So it's just kind of like, seems so skewed. Like there's no kind of direct correlation.
The thing is, the return rate on flyers is like 2 or 3%.
Right.
So, you pass out 1,000, you may get 2 or 3 calls.
Yeah.
It's nothing, but even if you get 1 call, it pays for the flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
You make your money back, and then your name.
And even then, if you don't get a call, it was only like $40.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's gonna make or break you.
Yeah.
100%.
And it was still fun doing it, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have
that
you
person
gotta have a
might
fun
hang on to
mindset
the
about it.
flyer. We did have one. I did this. It was probably like 7 years ago now. The boys passed out. Basically, what we did is we kind of, I don't even know what you call it, like this. I think they call it like the 7 house method or whatever. Like you pick one, like the house you pass it to, I think the one on either side and then the 5 across the street or whatever, right? To kind of like work on your density or whatever. And the boys did that, and they passed it like a snow postcard type deal. And it was like 3 years later, this guy called saying he had one of our snow postcards on his fridge and his snowblower broke. So like I said, you might not get the calls right away, but
in a couple years, maybe.
You might get them in the spring, right? You might get them in...
Yeah, the following.
Yeah, June of the next year, their mower breaks and they need somebody or whatever, right? So...
the biggest thing, Martin, is, I pass these out, not necessarily wanting to work right now, but I'm planning ahead for next year. So
nice.
They may not want the discount, but, they know who Eaton Lawn Care is and what I have to offer come springtime, right?
Yeah. So they hang on to it and then it's kind of there, yeah.
Nice.
It's a long game.
Love it.
Yep.
All about the long game.
And I think, I might have made a mistake when I passed them out. Not all of them were with tape. So
gotcha.
The ones with tape were on the side of the mailbox on the outside. The ones that weren't were inside the newspaper slot. So I'll have to send you a picture of what my flyers look like. But one side was white with a bunch of lettering. It had like red lettering outlining the 10% off, happy holidays or whatever. And then the other side was my logo, black background with my logo. So I was thinking maybe they didn't see it because I put the white down in a black mailbox. So it's kind of, you can't really see it in there. So, that automatically is going to take my numbers down drastically because it's...
Well, and then for the next time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Live and learn.
The old trial and error with marketing. Classic.
So that was probably a little mistake that I made. But, I won't do it again.
There you go.
There you go.
See? Don't make the same mistake twice.
There we
It's
go.
either rubber bands for the hook on the front of the mailbox or tape, right? Because the rubber band, if you punch a hole through your little flyer, just loop it through, noose it,
right,
hook it on.
There you go.
That's a good way of doing that.
I had come up with that helping another landscaper door tag several years ago before I had my own before my company was where it was at. When I was just screwing around trying to find work. That's where I learned how to do that.
Do that and then hook it on the
rubber
door
band
handle.
method.
Okay.
I like that. That's pretty slick.
Yeah, that is slick. And
then they got tricks up there.
They got to take it off. So
yeah, it makes them have to take it off.
Oh yeah, and then it doesn't blow away. It's still there.
True. I like it.
We'll see how that goes.
Okay. Well, you keep us posted. Yeah, we want to hear about that. We'll have to have you on again, Nate.
Most definitely.
Would there be a piece of advice you want to add for everyone listening?
Well, yeah, and I'll make it short and sweet.
Take your time, brother.
If you focus on yourself, leave out the negativity, don't look for input from others, you will get where you need to be. Right? So focus and block out all the bullshit.
There
Stuff
you
that
go.
doesn't matter.
Like it.
It only should matter for your business.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you sacrifice yourself for your business.
The bullshit blockers are
to make your
huge.
business better, right?
Bullshit blockers are on. That
Filters.
sounds like a
That's what I
t-shirt.
call them. I call them filters.
Yeah, filters.
I put my filters on with everything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's how I judge.
It makes life much simpler.
That's how I predict, right? That's how I see, myself where I'm going to be in a couple months. I've already made moves for February and March.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The stuff that you're doing now will pay off in 3, 6, 9 months.
Most definitely, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
We love it.
That is
Unreal,
good advice.
Nate. Well, where can everyone find you on socials?
They can find me on Instagram, simple as Eaton Lawn Care NC. Facebook, just be Nate Eaton. I haven't really made a business account for Facebook, but maybe one day.
One day.
Yeah, then they
Maybe
can
one
hack
day.
it for you.
Yeah. Someone will. There you go.
Perfect.
Oh, that's great. Sweet, Nate, man. Well, thanks for hopping on and chatting with the boys.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
talking to you too, Martin.
You
Thanks
too,
for having
buddy.
me. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. Hope you have a great Christmas here coming up and a great off season, and we will definitely link back up in the spring, Nate.
Sounds good, and maybe we can meet at the expo next year.
Yeah, 100%.
Last year was my first time even attending an equipment expo.
Okay. It's a
And
little
it's a lot.
It's a little overwhelming, we know.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, the Ferris giveaway, that wasn't crazy or anything, right?
That was crazy.
It was so crazy.
What's
I know.
even crazier is somebody won the mower that's probably never going to use it.
No,
Right?
I know. That's what we were saying too.
Wild.
So,
But yeah, looking forward to what the next year has to offer.
yeah, totally.
Most definitely.
I love it. Us too. Sweet guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
We want to thank you for listening to the Crooked Stripes podcast. If you like this episode of the pod, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Head over to Instagram and follow @the Crooked Stripes. From there, stay up to date on all things lawn, landscaping, and snow removal. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode of the Crooked Stripes. Thanks again for listening.